Top 5 quarterbacks under pressure. Geno Smith is a journeyman who won the quarterback job in 2022 after the Seahawks traded Russell Wilson to the Denver Broncos. He had a stellar 2022 season, leading the Hawks to a 9-8 record, winning Comeback Player of the Year, throwing for 4,282 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. Also leading the Seahawks to a 9-8 record and a playoff berth at the 7th seed in the 2022-2023 playoffs, earning himself a 3-year, $75 million contract in the offseason. Next, we have Tua Tagovailoa for the Miami Dolphins. A top 5 pick in 2020. He does have a history of injuries dating back to his college days at Alabama. Suffering two concussions last season, which he shouldn't have came back in my opinion. Also, he's coming into a year where he's on the last year of his rookie deal, but the Dolphins did pick up his player option. Dolphins made great moves to put Tua in position to win now by trading for players like Tyreek Hill from the Kansas City Chiefs that had championship experience and already having Jalen Waddle, a young talent in the league. And Tua has to prove that he can stay healthy and on the field for the Dolphins in order for them to make a great playoff run and a deep playoff run this year, because he hasn't been healthy the last 2 years, basically, of a injury to his legs, and these 2 concussions that he had this year. So Tua, stay healthy. You'll be fine. Next, we have Aaron Rodgers. His story is self-explainable why he's on this list. He forced his way out of Green Bay due to a lot of disagreements in the front office in Green Bay. He didn't like the coach. He didn't like the GM. They were going back and forth all season last year. During the offseason, he took a dark retreat during the offseason and left the Packers in doubt of his future as a Packer, and they left the league in shambles of him being an NFL player because they didn't know whether he was going to retire or not during his dark retreat. And when he came out of his dark retreat, he announced that he wanted to play again, and he wanted to be traded to the New York Jets. Traded to his preferred destination, New York Jets, on April 16th. I think it was like a week before the draft. He will make in 2023. He will make $75 million guaranteed for the next 2 years. So, Aaron Rodgers, you got to come to play, man. It's no honeymoon phase in this year, man, because you chose to leave Green Bay. You chose to be traded to the Jets. You got your weapons that you wanted. So he got major weapons. And Garrett Wilson, a young talent, a stud, if I might say. He got one of his wide receivers from Green Bay, and Allen Lazard and Randall Cobb, which came on late. You got a young talent in Corey Davis. And he got Breece Hall coming off an injury. And recently they just signed Dalvin Cook from Minnesota that played Minnesota last year. So they're going to be pretty good. And the Jets are going to be heavy favorites to win both the AFC and the Super Bowl. But it's going to come to Aaron Rodgers on whether, he stays in the honeymoon phase and play his ass off, or Aaron Rodgers, flips that switch if they find a way to lose, and he don't like being there no more. So Aaron Rodgers, if you want the right mindset, the Jets and you will have a great merger, and y'all will be, like I said, favorites to win the AFC and win the Super Bowl possibly. Next, we have Lamar Jackson. Again, self-explainable. Lamar signed a 5-year, $260 million extension with Baltimore after a 2-year negotiation period, which his peers and all the fans thought he deserved. But, however, Jackson did miss 10-plus games the previous 2 years, one via higher ankle sprain and one via a knee injury, and both coming at the most crucial time of the year in November and December when the Ravens really needed him. The Ravens have made wholesale changes by bringing in a whole new offensive coordinator in Todd Monken, which led the Georgia football offense, to back-to-back national titles the previous 2 years in college football. The wide receiver room in Baltimore has got revamped with the additions of Odell Beckham Jr. via free agency, which he signed on Easter Sunday, drafting Zay Flowers in the 2023 draft at number 22. The Ravens still have Rashad Bateman, coming off an injury. He should be good coming into the new year. And Mark Andrews, which is his favorite target the past few years. And Isaiah Likely, another young tight end talent. Lamar is going to have to be able to consistently, in my opinion, hit his wide receivers on deep passes, also outside the numbers. Because from what I saw via my eyes, Lamar has struggled a little mightily of hitting his deep routes consistently, man. And If you refer back to the Jacksonville Jaguars game last year, he missed like 3 touchdowns, and Lamar's going to have to hit on them consistently in order to put this offense at a whole new level. If Ravens fans like myself want to go where we need to go. And like I said about Tua and Aaron Rodgers, if Jackson stays healthy for a full 17 games, the Ravens can be lethal come January and possibly win the Super Bowl. All right, I had a hard time choosing between Justin Herbert, Mac Jones, and Russell Wilson, but I decided to go with Russell Wilson, and here's why. He's coming off a poor 2022 season. His first endeavor with Denver gave up all that draft capital, and I think 2 players to go to Seattle for Russell Wilson. And it looks like the person number 1 on this list, and Geno Smith, won that trade handily and easily right now as we speak for Seattle. He gave up a lot of draft capital, as I said. Wilson threw for 3,524 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. That was the most mediocre season I saw from a former Super Bowl champion ever, man. It looked like he just stunk the bid up. And also, he had a quarterback rating of 84.4, which was terrible. Teammates didn't feel like Russell was the guy when he halfway through the season because the offense just wasn't getting the job done. And Russell Wilson was one of the main reasons why the job wasn't getting done. He had players looking at him wrong on the sidelines after each possession, after each game. And Russell Wilson even had the slogan of the year, Broncos country, let's ride. A lot of fans like myself, and I know you listening, you ran with it and, just had fun with it and making jokes with him every time they would lose a game because of Russell Wilson. Oh, Broncos country, let's ride. And it looked like he wasn't riding for the Broncos at the time because he was getting negative feedback from the media, teammates, former Seahawks players from the Legion of Boom, people like Richard Sherman and all of them talk about they really won the Super Bowls back in the day for the Seattle Seahawks and not Russell Wilson. And they was calling Russell Wilson soft and talk about he didn't have a great mindset after he won. And his mindset just went negative and talk about he wasn't the main focus during them seasons where Seattle was running the table, winning Super Bowls with the Legion of Boom and Russell Wilson doing his thing. And the Denver Broncos was dead last in points per game in 2022 at 16.9 points per game. The defense did their job per watching, these Broncos games, man. The defense was doing their job, holding teams from under 20 points most of the time. All the Broncos had to do was score at least 17 points, basically, the 17 to 24 points a game, and they would have been in the playoffs with, opposite of what their record was. Now Wilson has to regain the trust back from his teammates because I don't think his teammates still trust him, man. You have to prove it to them, man, because last year it was like a show, and also how will Russell Wilson do in a Sean Payton-led offense? Everybody know the reputation of Sean Payton and Drew Brees, having the chemistry, leading them Saints teams to the playoffs, winning, even though they won one Super Bowl, but leading them to multiple wins, deep playoff runs. And I think Sean Payton wants to lead Russell Wilson to the promised land, get him back to the promised land, and get the Broncos back to the promised land. So my thing is, Russell Wilson, you need to have your stuff together. Get your football mind together because the Broncos got a great team. They just need a quarterback at the time right now to lead that squad. And Russell Wilson, you have to lead that squad. You are a veteran in this league. You've done it. You won the Super Bowl. You won an NFC Championship game. And the Broncos, most of them young towns are looking for you, to lead them. And plus, you have great talent at the wide receiver position. So get it done, Russell Wilson. And that's why. There you have it, guys. That's my top 5 quarterbacks under pressure in 2023. Comment down below to let me know what quarterback other than these 5, or maybe you might agree with me, quarterback you think is under the most pressure in 2023. Make sure you comment down below, man. Make sure you hit that like button. And if you're new, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Let's grow as a channel and let's make this work for the both of us and let's have some fun. Peace out.